When we expect others to appreciate everything we do, we are really setting ourselves up for disappointment. As a wife, if you're hoping that every time you prepare a meal, you'll be lavished with praises by your husband, so tasty, so nice, so delicious, so lekker. If that is your thought and that is your expectation, then I'm afraid that you are setting yourself up for disappointment. Similarly, as a husband, every time you did something at home, or every time you spent on your family, if you're expecting acknowledgement, if you're expecting praise, that your children or your wife will say, "Are you so generous? You're so talented. You did such a great job." And you have this mindset that, people will continue praising me in this way and acknowledging it, then really you are setting yourself up for disappointment. Yes, thanking others is something very noble. There's great virtue to it. The hadith says, "Man lam yashkur nas lam yashkur Allah." Whoever does not thank man will not be thankful to Allah. But when we begin to expect it and we depend on it, and that is the only thing that motivates us, then there is a problem that we will encounter and will become disappointed in life. As humans, we do desire it, we do enjoy it, and when we don't get it, then we express shock and surprise that, I did this and that for this person, and they couldn't even say Jazakallah, they couldn't even thank me. You know how ungrateful those people are, I'll never do anything for them. We seem to be shocked at people's behavior of ingratitude, yet there's nothing to be shocked about. Man's nature is towards ingratitude. We are ungrateful to our Creator. Allah Rabbul Izzah has given us a beautiful example in the verses of the Noble Quran of human nature, of the mushrikeen. فَإِذَا رَكِبُوا فِي الْفُلْكِ دَعَوُا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ فَلَمَّا نَجَّاهُمْ إِلَى الْبَرِّ إِذَا هُمْ يُشْرِكُونَ. When man is in dire straits, is in the ocean, there are huge waves, the clouds are dark, there's just rain pouring down, there seems to be no land in visibility, and at that time things seem to be going wrong. We call out to Allah with sincerity that I will be your obedient servant, I will listen to all your instructions. Then when Allah Rabbul Izzah grants us salvation, we turn our back on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is man's nature, that we are generally ungrateful, and we do that to our Creator. So what can our expectation be from other human beings? As a parent, you raise your kids, you make great sacrifice. Many parents says, even if I don't eat, as long as my kids are okay, that is my greatest concern. As your kids are growing up, you make sacrifices. As a father, you may have wanted to upgrade your car, but you choose not to. As a mother, you may have wanted to redo your kitchen, but you choose not to, so that I can put my kids through university. And then as they grow up, they have no time for you. They do not consult you. They do not heed your advice, or do not even want to listen to it. And it's heartbreaking. It's a reality of life. You've had all these expectations that you pinned on them, and they disappoint you. And you become very, very disappointed with them and become very, very unhappy in life. And this is because of expecting something in return, expecting that gratitude. And when we do not get it, then we feel miserable. What we are taught in the Noble Quran is that we need to focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever we do it for the sake of Allah. Allah should be our sole objective. إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. The chosen servants are those who, when they do for others, they say, I am feeding you, not for your sake, but for the sake of Allah. I do not want any recompense, nor any acknowledgement or appreciation from you. So this is the beauty of the Deen of Islam. Our social activities are also governed by seeking the pleasure of Allah. The pleasure of Allah is at the core of what we do. And those who do not have faith, and do not believe in any religion or do not have the deen of Islam, they do not have this greater solace and comfort that we can take from doing things for the sake of Allah. As a husband, what I do for my wife and kids. As a wife, what I do for my husband and kids. As a child, what I do for my parents. As a parent, what I do for my children. As a sibling, what I do for my fellow siblings. I do it solely for the sake of Allah. I'm not doing it for your sake only. I do it for the sake of Allah, and whatever then comes from that, that is secondary to it. And when we have this type of attitude, then it will save us from disappointment. Remember, man's nature is towards ingratitude. But should that stop us from being kind? It shouldn't. We should continue to be kind, because that is something that has been advocated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should continue doing for others without that expectation. And yes, if you get the gratitude, then that is well and good. But it shouldn't hinge everything. If you're helping someone and expecting something in return, then essentially that is not kindness. That is business. You're giving something and you're getting something back. And then when you do not get appreciation, then you feel disappointed. When you do not get appreciation, sometimes you need to pause and reflect. Was that my only motivation? Is there a fault on my side? Your spouse may have been giving so much to this relationship that the scales are so lopsided that even though you did a small gesture, but there's so much resentment in the relationship. That is why you're not getting that appreciation. You need to ask yourself, what is the underlying issues? Sometimes you may not receive the appreciation that you desire, but it's no fault on your side. And that is why you shouldn't take it too personal. You should move on. So we need to, and essentially linking this to happiness, that for your own happiness, express gratitude, but don't expect gratitude.